Hello and welcome to this week's visibility session. I'm Dina Behrman, PR strategist, and today I am joined by Sabine, who is also known as the Evergreen Queen. Welcome, Sabine.
Hi, Dina. Thank you so much for having me.
Really good to have you here. So Sabine is going to be chatting to us today about evergreen visibility, how to create a sustainable system that keeps you visible without burning out, which I just love because the way that I like to work with my clients is exactly the same. It's about having sustainable publicity, sustainable visibility, and avoiding burning out, which I know a lot of entrepreneurs get to that point in their business where they feel really burnt out. So Sabine is a business strategist. She empowers coaches, consultants, and service-based entrepreneurs to create evergreen systems that exponentially grow their income and impact. So welcome. Can you tell us more about how you ended up doing what you're doing now?
Yeah, so originally I was not a business strategist. I was actually working in a 9-to-5 job. And my background is lean and continuous improvement and project management. And I think it comes from there because I was always the troubleshooter in organizations. And we talk really large organizations, well-known organizations that we buy from every single day. And it was fantastic at the time. Now, when I started my own business, and that was kind of due to me having kids and wanting to have more time freedom and do what I want to do. I actually wasn't even a business strategist back then. I was doing the consulting work that I used to do. And then I shifted into what I do now, which is building those systems, because I had to learn so much. And I went around circles, rabbit holes, and trying to put together a website, which I couldn't do in the end myself. I had to then go and get a web designer because it didn't look the way I wanted it. So I made a lot of mistakes on this journey. And it took me a long time to actually realize that there are only a couple of steps that every single business owner needs to have in their business, and something that they need to do every single day. And that's what I now call the evergreen business ecosystem. So from that, it actually derived, and it has obviously all the project management and the continuous improvement and all the lean philosophy in this as well. Because why did we actually start a business? It's because we wanted time, freedom, maybe want to make more money than we could ever have made in the corporate world. But the reality is, when we are becoming entrepreneurs, we all of a sudden have to wear all these different hats, and we get pulled into so many different directions, and we lose a lot of time, energy, and potentially money. So it's really about closing these gaps and closing the leakages in a business so that we can actually run it. We don't necessarily need a big team. Not everyone wants to have big teams and don't need them. But it's really about how can we best utilize the resources that we're already creating, and then make them evergreen so that we can repurpose over and over again, right? Like, for example, right now I'm running a workshop. What am I doing? I'm repackaging the workshop and I'm selling it on as a small ticket item later on. Right now it's inside my membership, but I want more people coming into my membership. So I'm going to actually use that workshop and not having to create something new, some new marketing materials over and over again, but I'm just utilizing what I'm already doing in a more clever way.
Yeah, I love that. It is really about working smarter and not harder. And I think repurposing is so useful for entrepreneurs because so often we feel like we're having to reinvent the wheel and start from scratch. And there's that feeling when you're staring at a blank screen and thinking, what am I going to do for this piece of content or this, offer that I'm creating? And I know from a PR perspective, actually, as entrepreneurs, we have so much content, so much, marketing materials that we've used in the past. And so being able to repurpose that and use it for PR is really helpful if you want to write a guest article or guest blog post, but you can do it in so many areas of your business as well. We have so many assets, don't we? As business owners, we're like creating so much.
But I guess not only that. but it's also how did we create these assets in the first place? Did we really go through a framework that will actually pull in new clients? Is it strategically positioned? How do you position yourself as an authority? Because back then, we probably weren't as smart and didn't have the experiences. And I look at my content that I wrote 3-4 years ago, and I'm not going to repurpose that, to be honest, because now I'm actually more savvy. I know what works in the marketplace. And so let's not be, delusional about, yeah, let's just repurpose everything that we ever created. But when we start creating new things, let's think about how can we evergreen this in terms of our messaging, the way we structure, how we framing our content, and what kind of content we're putting out there, right? So I think that's where, even if you start now from scratch, from zero, drizzle in a bit of evergreen into everything that you're doing.
Yeah. So like thinking ahead, thinking forward, not just focusing on, right, I'm going to do this now, but thinking, well, if I do this now and put the time and energy into it, how can I make it continue working for me?
Another good example, I'm just about to start a 12 days to Christmas countdown. Last year I created this advent calendar. It was the same thing, 12 days to Christmas, but I've now up-leveled it, but I can still use the same concepts, the same ideas, and the graphics that I've created on Canva and the landing page. I just need to tweak a little bit, but I call this evergreen because now every Christmas I have something I can put out there. I did the same with Easter. So thinking about campaigns that may be seasonal, maybe even Black Friday, what are things that you can use again next Black Friday?
Yeah. So when you say evergreen visibility, that's what you mean, having something that you can use more than once, and not, like you say, not having to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah. So that's your assets or your conversion events that I was just talking about. But then you also have front end visibility, which is getting new leads and eyeballs on your stuff. So personally, I'm not a TikTok fan. I'm not the kind of person who will go and do, fun things. I'm probably not that fun. I'm more boring. That's what kids tell me. But let's think about it. We're in the business space and we can actually teach things. So why not do YouTube, for example? So YouTube has more of a longevity than perhaps X or TikTok, because they're quite short-lived. So we've got to think about these, or LinkedIn newsletters. And also, when I think evergreen visibility, it's about the creation of the content. I could use now this recording, transcribe it, and then create a LinkedIn newsletter from our conversation. It's a written piece, a written interview, and then share it.
We will have a blog coming. So we are also thinking about, the evergreen side of things. And this recording will be going onto YouTube and going into a blog. And I think we have a really similar outlook on social media is great, but it can be very, very short-lived, very, very quick moving. It can feel very disposable. And so having something that's more long-lasting and more evergreen, obviously from, the work that I'm doing with clients, it's the PR side of things. And so having articles and podcast interviews and things like that are searchable, that can be found for a long time, that are evergreen. And I think that's such a smart way to focus on your marketing, because so many people get bogged down with social media thinking that that's the only way. And actually there are so many other things you can focus on, and being smart with it and having things that last for a long time is so much more valuable, I think.
Absolutely, especially with PR as well. Once you've got an article out there, you can always use the link in the screenshots and then position yourself as an authority. I literally just updated my school about page yesterday, and I thought to myself, well, hang on, I have been published in a number of publications. Why don't I just grab all the links and also the logos and just put them on there? It just really gives you that extra edge, because there's a lot of different people online right now, but who do you really believe? How can you really build that trust? And it is about creating those contents that have longevity and using things like PR, and that's absolutely your patch, Dina. And I totally think it is so worthwhile doing it.
Yeah, and those are things that last forever as well. And I think that's the other thing, because social media can feel disposable, and then you have certain things in your business, whether it is a YouTube video, a podcast video, or episode, press, whatever, that's there forever. You get to say forevermore, I've been featured in this place, I've done this, I've done that. And I think that is really, really valuable.
Yes, absolutely.
So if you have business owners who are falling into that feast and famine cycle with visibility, which I think a lot of people do, where they feel like they're really enthusiastic about it and they're posting, and then they get fed up with it and they stop posting, what's the way to overcome that?
It happened to me as well. It's all normal.
Yeah,
Because when
totally
things
been
don't
there.
work out, it's like, oh, what am I doing this for? Am I wasting time? Am I wasting
Yeah,
energy? Why is it working for someone else and not for me? Now, there's several trains of thought here. Well, number one, nowadays we are in an economy where information overload exists. Okay, so we've got to be very strategic how we actually put information out there. And we also need to remember that people don't just transform by reading or consuming information. Like I could tell you all the 6 pillars that I've put together, and I can teach you all of that. But in the end of the day, it's actually you will probably need to support me walking through it with you
yeah,
and implementing. So really think about that when you are creating content. Then it is the discipline. Well, the question is, back in a 9 to 5 job, would you say you're not turning up on a Monday or just because you can't be bothered or on Tuesday? We had to turn up every single day to go to the office. So we got to see this as, well, a job, I guess, or
yeah,
to some extent, especially when it comes to the non-negotiables. And you might want to really think about, what are my non-negotiables? So my personal non-negotiables, and I guess I got to actually model this for my community, because I teach that in my community when I have this challenge up and running that I'm implemented and I'm actually now doing myself. It's called Get 100 Leads in 7 Days, because that is now starting the momentum, doing certain activities every single day. And I love school, the platform school. So they give you a flame when you're consistent after
yeah,
30 days. So I've got my flame and I want to keep it. It's like the streak, right?
yeah, yeah,
However, it's not just, vanity metrics, likes and shares and the flame, but I actually have got over 200 leads coming into my school community, and that actually turned into new sales very quickly as well, because you have to obviously in the back end have the right ascension pathway and communication. But I got over 200 leads just by doing my own thing that I'm actually teaching over 2 weeks. And just because I was forced to do it, because I wanted to showcase it in my community, and I got the results. Because you're getting results, you're then more motivated, right? When you're making
yeah,
sales, you have this rhythm. And to be honest, I'm not spending more than an hour. I don't think it's necessary to be on social media 24/7. If you do like an hour every day, if you want to take the weekend off, I can't, because I've got to keep the flame, but it only takes 10 actions, like 10 likes, and I've still got the flame. So,
yeah,
because sometimes I do take the weekends off, let's be real. And then it's also creating, again, Evergreen will help with all this, because you want to repurpose and you don't have to rewrite everything over and over again. If you create like 90 days worth of content, who says you can't repurpose the content for the next 90 days and start from day one again?
yeah,
Again, it's going to help you because all the heavy lifting is done. And that means you're going to be more consistent, and you will keep the momentum more likely. Because if you have to always do the heavy lifting every day, and then obviously it is tough, and we can just stop and give up.
yeah. So can you briefly talk us through the framework that you use?
Yeah, so the frame, you mean the 6 pillars of
Yeah,
Evergreen? Yeah, okay. So basically, the first pillar is being really clear around your business model, because it could be to your detriment if you are not utilizing, leveraging the business models that are out there. You can start with one-to-one, but once you're booked out, you might be stressed. Personally, I was stressed out when I had 10 one-to-one clients. I had like done for you sales funnels and things like that. I was building for them, and I just was also doing additional things around that, and I just couldn't do it anymore. So what I did is I told those 10 clients, hey, I'm going to start a group program. We're going to achieve the same things, but in a group. And that worked really, really well. So there's group options, there is membership options. So really think about holistically, how do I want to start that business or grow that business? When do I, how can I remove myself and get more clients and leverage my time and also make more money whilst doing that? So that's your business models. That's the clarity.
Mm-hmm.
The pillar number 2, now you're creating your offers. Okay, depending on what your business model is, you're creating your signature program, your offer. You can't even go out and market yourself yet unless you have your offer,
Yeah.
because it all stems from that, right? That's the seed. The pillar number 3 is your content creation and your content flywheel. Basically, I call it Evergreen flywheel, which is the repurposing and how you show up and what are the different things that you can create from one piece of content. Then pillar number 4 is your conversion events. So your evergreen and conversion events, like when you're running a workshop or a challenge. I ran my challenge live in the beginning. I got all the feedback. I improved what I needed to do. I can do the same with a webinar. And then I can actually evergreen it so people can actually go through it themselves. And you have that mechanism in place of conversion, of sending people into a paid offer, right? That's your conversion events. Then pillar number 5, and not a lot of people actually talking about this. More and more now are on school, because it's important when people come on board. So it's the onboarding process. How do you make sure people find what they need, and how do they get their first quick wins? Do you have a contract as a coach? How do you protect yourself around refunds and things like that? So that's your onboarding piece. And then the 6th pillar is all, surprise, surprise, continuous improvement and scaling, because you got to look back at your data and see where are people stuck, are people converting, are they not converting, am I driving the right amount of traffic to my offers, and are they converting? And then once you're inside the community or your program, are they achieving the results? Are they doing the work? What can be improved there? And then also harness, testimonials, referrals, and things like that, which again, we don't really talk too much. So that concludes the whole 6 pillars as a whole ecosystem.
I love that, because I think from what I know about you, I can tell you're so kind of organized, and I guess that comes from your background of working in corporate and having those systems in place. And so many business owners, I think, take initially, when they start their business anyway, they can be quite scattered in their approach, and I think just having a system and a process to follow makes things so much easier, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I distilled it down to these 6 things.
Yeah.
You don't need, I mean, I know people are talking about this shiny object, Instagram hack, and this TikTok, whatever. But these are the 6 core things that everyone needs to have dialed down and working in their business. And you just build from that onwards.
Yeah. So what do you think business owners should start with if they want to create that kind of evergreen visibility? Where's a good place to start?
So if we just look at visibility itself, so say your business model, say you have a signature program that is working. So how do you become visible? How do you put it out there? So I would start with your signature program. What are the things, and there may be steps that you have, like I have the 6 pillars, and it's very easy. I can do lots of different graphics, and then I can spin off smaller content pieces from each of these. If I want, I can do 10 content pieces of each, so that's 60 content pieces, right?
Yeah.
So that's how I would really think about. And then within the content pieces, you can go, okay, what are the different things that I can talk about? I can talk about my backstory. Why am I doing this? I can talk about my clients, some testimonials. I can do some teaching points and education. Obviously, quite often we do this, tips and tricks and things like that. But maybe I can also share my personality and talk about the fact that I'm from Austria and I like skiing, and people get to know you as a person behind the scenes as well. You can share behind the scenes. Like yesterday, I prepared the workshop that I'm doing later today. We're doing a networking event, you and me, this week as well. So, can share behind the scenes saying, hey, it's 120 women have already registered. Will you join us? And here's a screenshot. So those are things, reporting what you're doing, maybe even your failures, because you can't be all perfect. I think a lot of people do not want to share their failures. But I think that's where the trust really builds. So that's the content, as in like the format and the structure. But then now we got to think about, okay, where are my people? What do they like to consume? I heard apparently that people who like to listen to podcasts are also avid book readers. And I didn't realize. So there must be some psychology for you to find out, okay, what's my preferred version of showing up? So I like these kind of interview styles. That I've done it myself for longest time, but I've also written a book, right? So I've tested different media, and now I'm starting to do more videos on YouTube, but also, of course, content. It's just with image content on the different platforms. But again, you got to think, what platforms are my people, on? I know the corporate people hang out on LinkedIn, and you can actually pinpoint them, and you can connect with them directly, maybe send them a newsletter, maybe send them a quick video or a tip or something like that. So don't shy away, and don't just wait for people to come to you. Go and reach out to them as well. Of course, always lead with value. It's not about spamming the heck out of DMs and stuff like that. It's putting something out there that's of value. Some people will see it, some people won't. Unfortunately, the algorithm doesn't always work for you right now. Think about also paid traffic. I'm running Facebook ads. It's been working really well because I've really learned how to do it. There's a new Andromeda update as well, which is fantastic for us small business owners, because Facebook actually does all the heavy lifting, finding the audience for you. So I've learned so much now that I actually teach how to set it up in my community.
That's so good.
You gotta start somewhere, right? I'm not the whole expert, but I am learning from other people who are doing extremely well. But I also understand that a lot of people are a bit hesitant to actually put money towards, visibility. However, it does work. Always, you have to actually invest your time, your energy, or you invest money to get.
That's the thing. You've got to decide, haven't you? Sometimes it's like you invest the money so you don't have to put all the time into it, or you invest the time because you're not going to put all the money into it. So there's got to be some investment there.
Or you want to do hybrid. That's what I'm doing. Because I actually need my content that I'm creating organically to then feed Facebook ads with it, because I can, put little short videos out there or behind the scenes to get people to get to know me, because it's the same thing, whether it's just being boosted to make sure people are seeing it.
What are your favorite ways personally to be visible?
I love things like this.
Yeah.
Just those kind of conversations, because that's the deepest and the best conversations. I also love the networking that we do together as well, because that's really true, authentic conversations, getting to know people. I think those are my two favorites. I'm not so much of like, let me pre-record a video and put it out on YouTube. I'm just not that kind of person. I like to post as well. I post every day now in my community and a couple of other groups.
So that's on school, is it?
On school, I'm quite a lot on school nowadays. I still post stuff also on Facebook and on Instagram, but it's more of a presence, and I see a lot of school owners actually doing the same and getting a lot of traffic over from Instagram into their school communities, which is interesting. And the YouTubers are doing even better when they have a big following. They're all going and following wherever the YouTuber is going, which is interesting.
So it's somewhere to kind of funnel people, send people to school, but also I guess for you showing up in school itself, is that building, I'm not entirely sure how it works, does that boost your visibility within school, or is it within your community on there?
So I think it's both. It's almost like you're on Facebook and you're in a Facebook community, or you have your own Facebook community where, of course, you nurture your own community, but you can also go into other people's community, post there, and then also comment on other people's threads and be helpful. And then people will come to your profile. They see you and they see your community and then want to come and join you as well.
Interesting. I just always think it's really good to know about alternatives to traditional social media, because I think so many business owners get caught up in that bubble where they think the only way to grow their business is to post every day on Instagram or whatever it is. And actually just knowing that there's other ways to reach people and to be visible, I think is really
it is interesting. Because I just found that I'm on LinkedIn as well, right? I have quite a large LinkedIn account that I've built up over the years, but I'm just not getting enough eyeballs. I know that, you know, you don't get a lot of likes and comments and things like that. So you got to actually have an extra layer on top and reach out to people. Whereas on school, when I post there, all of a sudden I have like 50 comments. It just blows up because the people on that platform are so invested in some really good conversations, and it's not as, it feels not as overwhelming. It's more organized than on other social media platforms. I just feel that there's a real community and a different culture on that platform. And you don't have
Interesting.
the people. I mean, there's still some spammers that come in and
Always,
but
everywhere, isn't
always, you
it?
know. But it's pretty much not seen as a good, like, they're being banned very, very quickly. There's
Yeah.
actually people reporting them pretty swiftly and removed. Yeah,
Mm,
I just feel it's a really great platform. It's very easy to navigate as well, and you can toggle into your own community and into other people's community on the same page, and that's just easy for me because I like
yes.
ease.
Yeah. So if someone was watching this and they're a small business owner and they wanted to get started with this idea of evergreen visibility, and say they have like 30 minutes to focus on that, what would you recommend that they focused on if they just wanted to get started each week?
Yeah, so it's actually perfect. That's kind of what I teach exactly. So, for example, if you have 30 minutes on the Monday, you could brainstorm your topics for the week after, right? Or maybe 2 weeks, because you always want to be 1 or 2 weeks in advance
Yeah.
ahead. And even if you want to take a few days off, you're good, right? So you want to brainstorm your topics, and you can use something like ChatGPT or Claude to help you with that. So you don't have to write everything from scratch.
Yeah.
But obviously, there's a bit of pre-work to do, maybe your brand voice and things like that. So make sure that it doesn't sound robotic or chat GPT like
Yeah.
once you post it. So there's your content sorted. If you want to do some video, then so that's what I do on Tuesday. I then record the video because on Monday I create the script. I record my video, so I get ready, and then all the videos I need to do for the week, I'll just do it on the Tuesday, for example, because then on a Wednesday I can then do the edits if I wanted to enhance it or cut some bloopers out or put some captions and so on. But on Wednesday, and I also do the banners. Okay, so it may not happen in 30 minutes. Maybe you do that on Thursday. You might want to do the banner for your social media. So you want to create a couple of posts, post banners on Canva. You could do that on Thursday, and then on Friday you could just go and post it all in. Maybe you put it on LinkedIn. Maybe you have a LinkedIn newsletter. You have a Facebook, Instagram, whatever, TikTok. But you can use things like, I have Post Planner. I just post it once, and it just goes out on all the different platforms depending on
Yeah.
what I've chosen. So there's your Monday to Friday plan.
I love that because I think that feels really doable for people when
Mhm.
it's kind of broken down like that. Um, so if people want to connect with you, find out more about what you do, where is the best place for them to do that? How can they connect with you?
Yeah, I mean, I am on Facebook. I have a obviously my profile is there. I also have a LinkedIn profile, so under Sabine Matharu. And if you are on school, you can find me under the Evergreen Business Queens community. I think those would be the best three places.
Yeah. And for anyone watching this live, we have our joint networking event coming up on Friday at 2 p.m. UK. So this is the end of year Rise and Reflect networking. So if anyone wants to join that, I will post the link to register. And like you said, it's a really good way to connect with other like-minded business owners, and it's a good place to find, you know, people to chat to, potential collaboration partners, potential clients. So I think having a community is so valuable in this day and age where there is so much AI and, like you say, the information overload, and actually just being able to connect with like-minded people is so valuable.
Exactly. One thing I would add from a Monday to Friday thing is if you get time to go into other people's groups and just be a member, a good member, and add value, that is big visibility as well. It's not you posting all the time, but you also contributing.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting, because people often think that visibility is just about posting and putting yourself out there, and actually just, like you say, being visible by contributing, by being in someone else's group, by networking, it gets you visible, doesn't it?
Exactly. I mean, by having content out there, once people see you posting or commenting something, or you're helping them out with some value, they will go and seek out your content and then consume it. So that's how it works, right?
Yeah. It is like that ecosystem, isn't it? It's all working together.
Exactly.
Thank you so much. That's been so helpful. And I just always love to hear about, how different people are doing things, and knowing that this is working for you and your clients, I think is really, really inspiring, and that it's something that people can get started with easily as well. It doesn't have to be this huge thing. So
absolutely. Yeah. And if you do stumble across my school community, there is the challenge, 7-day challenge in there that will actually teach you exactly what I was talking about from start to finish, step by step. And and I look forward to the networking. It's always a lot of fun. We have always like over 100 women registered, so we've been growing this quite a lot, and this is another great way to be visible and to position yourself as an authority. And what I love about our networking is that it's not pitching each other. It's really about connecting on an authentic level, because the way we run it, we have a little mastermind talk in the beginning, and then we actually flow from there and have like breakout rooms and great conversations happening as well.
Yeah, definitely. So if anyone is watching this live and wants to come along to that, then get yourself registered. And yes, connect with Sabine as well on her social media. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's been great chatting to you, and I will speak to you soon. Bye for now.
Bye.